All right, so what happens when a termite inspection comes back with active termites? There's a lot of things with termite inspections that most people don't know. A lot of people think that they are required, and some people think that, oh, well, they're not at all required. And it's kind of a little bit there in the middle. So if you are a VA buyer, you are actually required to submit a clean termite inspection report back to the lender. That is a lender required item. If in that report it notes active termites, it has to be done for the, and usually the seller's going to pay for this every time. It usually happens 99% of the time. That have to get a termite treatment in it, and then that termite treatment, putting that in place will then suffice, and you're good to go. Termite treatments, I'll say, range from probably somewhere around $400 up to $1,200-1,500, depending on what you're getting, size, the logistics of it. But that suffices it for the lender. There are a few just kind of one-off lenders out there, no matter what your loan type is, that will require a termite in addition. And again, it has to be clean. If it's noted on there that they're active and it's recommended, the lender will not give you a loan without that happening. Now, with that, what happens whenever it notes on here, and I've ran into this one multiple times, it notes, hey, no active termites, but signs of previous termites or damage, signs of damage. So this one gets a little bit, it gets to my heart a little bit, because do I like everything and want to talk about people doing shady stuff? A termite inspection probably costs anywhere from $70 to $100. That's what you're going to pay those companies. Those companies are not making a whole lot of money off driving, 15 minutes to an hour or more to do this inspection, drive back home, or draw up the report. They're not going to be a very successful company. So is it in their interest financially to find anything and everything they can to then recommend treatment, which is where they're going to make their money? Yes. Now, I would say the majority of people that we've ran into in this industry and that are on kind of our list, we don't feel that way. We don't. I have ran into several people in the industry where I do feel every single time they find something that's trying to require, some sort of termite thing, and I blacklist them. I take them off our stuff because I feel like it's just a salesy person. They're just going out there and trying to sell. They're not a good person. But for the most part, we've had pretty good luck overall, even with randoms. Random companies for the most part, they're pretty solid. So it's not the industry itself, I don't think is you have more good people than bad people in it. I'll preference that. But with that, if there is damage, and the lender sees that, they will then note sometimes structural engineers to come in, licensed general contractors to come in, and then write a letter basically noting that, hey, there is no repair needed, or if there is repair needed, they will require it. The lender sees that, no matter what your loan type is. That's why a good lender tell you, hey, I don't want to see some of this stuff. They will, and I've had structural engineers involved. I had one a couple years ago, really shady. I thought it was pretty shady. Literally, the home had an active termite treatment stuff in it. Well, so it was going to convey to the buyers, and the seller would have gave that with the home. So there are no termites. But in the report that they sent out, a termite guy, it said, hey, there are no active termites, but there are signs of previous termites. Well, yeah, that's why they got termite treatment, and their lender still was going to require it. So I called again. I know the game, so I called the company. I was like, hey man, I need you to take out that you recommend more treatment, because they have a treatment. He's like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, all right. And so basically our workaround was we called another termite company and sent them out and said, hey, please go do inspection, and here's the situation, right? They went out there and said, yeah, no, there's nothing recommended. It has a treatment system in it, wrote the letter. That's the one we gave to the lender, closed just fine. So again, you see, like, that's where you got to really watch this. But I have seen significant termite damage. And I will tell you, if it has real damage, you got some rotted wood, right, and structure issues, we usually tell people to walk that way. So That's really how it works. VA required. One of the biggest myths out there with that too is that the seller pays for the VA. That is not a requirement. Pre-COVID, that probably was a very common thing that was done in the industry. It was kind of like a way for people to appreciate the veteran, right? The seller would often then pay for that, but it is not required at all. And pretty much COVID put a stop to that with the market going crazy. And since then, it's buyers are doing it themselves. It's hard to get the seller to pay for that in our current market here. But if you ever have questions about anything, holler anytime.